Hi, Debbie Lichter here with the Congruence Code and freefromfoodaddiction.com. Today we're talking about how to get free from social anxiety. I speak with so many folks who struggle with social anxiety, and for many years I didn't know that the ways that I felt so awkward and would avoid going into public and would isolate and didn't like being around people and would make up all these stories and get distracted and come up with all these reasons why I couldn't hang out with other people. I didn't realize underneath all of that was a deep, deep fear of being judged, of being awkward, of not having anything to say, of feeling uncomfortable in my own skin. I didn't realize that what was happening was social anxiety. And so today, when I speak with folks and they tell me that they have social anxiety and that it really holds them back from being able to put themselves out there, it holds them back in friendships, it holds them back in work, it holds them back in all these different areas, I want to say, oh my gosh, let me give you some tips, some tools that really worked for me, and hopefully that can work for you too. And so let's dive right in. So the first tip that I'd like to share with you is around getting into your body. So here's the deal, is that anxiety, overwhelm, all that stuff, obsession, all that stuff really keeps us up in our head and has us walking around being pretty detached from our bodies. And here's the interesting thing, is that when you are up in your head, it actually creates an experience of trauma inside of your body. When you are disembodied, you're not in your body, you're not connected to your body, you're up in your head, you're planning, you're thinking, you're obsessed, you're overwhelmed, you're thinking 5 steps ahead, you're freaking about something, you're worrying about something. It actually disconnects you, disembodies you, and what that does in your body is it sets off your immune's alarm system. It actually creates a traumatic experience in your body that will signal to your brain that you are under duress and stress. And so that can make us feel even more nervous, even more anxious. It becomes this like self-fulfilling prophecy where our anxiety can create more anxiety physiologically, mentally, emotionally, and all of the above. And so how do you address that? Is by going from your head down into your body. And you can do that right now, literally just by bringing your awareness down. You can imagine your awareness just dropping all the way down into your chest, down into your belly, down into your pelvis, down your legs, and all the way to the soles of your feet. And just start to feel your feet in contact with the ground. You can even take a breath here. Just let yourself relax into this moment and feel your feet on the ground. So one of the tools, and you can just keep feeling your feet on the ground, you can feel the soles of your feet, feel the sensation at the soles of the feet while I continue to talk. When I get up to go on stage, to go speak, or when I am walking into an event, or when I am when I'm recording a video, or being asked to do some kind of thing that puts me on the spot, and I start getting that nervousness coming up. This is one of the tools that I use. It's a go-to tool for me where I bring my awareness down into my body, down into my feet. I start taking some breaths and I take my awareness out of my head where all the anxiety and the overwhelm is living. What's really powerful about being in your body and getting present is that it helps you get into the present moment. And when we're in the present moment and we take a deep breath into the moment, oftentimes we can realize that whatever we were worried about or anxious about is something that does not exist in the present moment. We're typically worried about something that may or may not happen that is in the future. And so if we can just slow down and just get present to our bodies, get present to our breath, get present to our feet on the ground, and be here now, it really can help that experience. How does this work when you go into a social environment? Well, when you walk into any social environment, you actually can really support yourself and support your physiology by bringing your awareness down into your body. You can feel your heart. You can feel your feet on the ground. You can just take a few breaths that just let your body know, hey, we're safe. We are okay. and that'll allow you to start feeling supported. You know, one of the things that happens when we feel anxious is that we start to breathe very shallowly. And again, that shallow breath will then start to trigger even more stress response in the body, even more fear in the body, and make us feel even more anxious. And so by allowing ourselves to breathe, by allowing ourselves to just be here now, to relax your belly, to feel your feet on the ground, all of these things are going to allow you to be more calm and centered as you walk into any environment. So that's the first tool that I want to share with you. The second tool that I want to share with you is to get comfortable with being uncomfortable. So this is a skill that when I really watch those folks who are super successful in their lives, who have done things that we all admire, and hey, I call it a success when somebody is getting free from their addictions, obsessions, and self-sabotaging patterns. You know, when you're able to move through that stuff, that is great, big, huge success. So success can look at all kinds of ways. But here's what I noticed the commonality is this willingness to get comfortable with what is uncomfortable. That willingness to feel awkward, that willingness to not have it together, that willingness to bumble and stumble along. There's a kind of self-love that we bring to the table when we're willing to actually let ourselves not be perfect, not have it together, and just go through an experience. And let me tell you, I know that this is easier said than done. I am a total recovered perfectionist. I used to not do anything if I didn't think I would be able to do it perfectly. So I know that this is something that it's a practice to cultivate. But you can do it in little ways all the time. Sometimes it's just picking up the phone and making that really uncomfortable phone call, and your heart is pounding, and you feel like you're just, it's gonna pound out of your chest. You can hear your heart beating in your neck, and you're sweaty and clammy and everything feels awkward, but you just do it. And this brings me to the next point, which is do this not for the outcome. So walking into a social environment, or walking up onto a stage, or even pressing go live on a Facebook Live, whatever that thing is for you, of putting yourself out there, meeting a friend for coffee, meeting somebody new, going on a date, asking somebody on a date, whatever that is for you. Don't do the action for the outcome. Do it for who you will become on the other side of taking that action. This is so, so important because, again, one of the things that brings us back up into our head is all of our expectations and all of our beliefs about what we need to do and how it's supposed to go and what means we're successful and what means we're not. And we're like, am I going to say the right thing, or am I going to look stupid? And we're constantly thinking and constantly thinking. But if you are able to just be in your body, you're able to get comfortable with being uncomfortable, and you're able to show up and do the action, show up, just not for the outcome of what you're going to get, or how many people are going to like you, or what that other person is going to say, what the audience is going to say, or who's going to respond, or anything like that. Do it for who you get to become. Because who you get to become on the other side of taking that action is a greater, more full version of you, a more authentic version of you, a more comfortable in your skin version of you, and a more confident you. I talk to folks all the time and they're like, I want to be more confident, and yet we're not willing to get uncomfortable. We're not willing to do something because we're so attached to the outcome and what we need to get from it, or what it needs to yield for us. And it's not to say that you can't go into a particular endeavor wanting a particular outcome, but if you just unattached to how that unfolds for you, and instead you really align yourself with who you get to evolve into, who you get to become as a result of moving through something that had you gripped by fear before. Anytime we walk through something where fear before was creating a line in the sand and we were staying small and staying stuck because we weren't going there, anytime you cross that line, you bust through a limiting belief, you absolutely will have an exponential experience of joy, gratification, gratitude. I mean, I've never ever had the experience. I've never spoken with anybody before who's busted through a limiting fear and on the other side of it said, oh, wait a second, I want to go back and pick up that limiting fear. I've never ever heard that before. So you can only grow, you can only expand, you can only come back to the fullness of who you are if you're willing to do that thing. Get uncomfortable and really endeavor to do something for who you get to become. I promise you, you will really, really like the person on the other side who just walked through that big, great, scary, huge thing. Awesome. So the last little tool I want to share with you, the last tip that I just want to leave you with is a little bonus here. But this really is the idea that, oh my gosh, people are just people, right? If you think about yourself, I mean, oftentimes we are afraid to go into a social environment because we feel like everybody's going to judge us, but we're the ones that are judging everybody else. And how does that work? How does that work for you? I mean, what I find is that I might walk around and I feel like I'm, being judgy-wudgy, and I can call myself out on that, judging this and judging that. But at the end of the day, it really all ties back to me and my focus on me. So I might be judging somebody because of something they said about me, right? Or a judgment that I have because that's not how I think they should have responded or what I think they should be doing. So the bottom line is that even our external judgments are really because we are so focused on ourselves. We can't stop thinking about ourselves. Even if we don't think highly of ourselves, we usually can't stop thinking about ourselves. And I'll never forget, a mentor of mine said, self-centeredness is not what you think of yourself, it's how often you think of yourself. And so when we're thinking of ourselves all the time, just know that the rest of the world is walking around doing the same thing. Even if they have a momentary judgment, it's usually because it ties back to them and their experience about themselves. So as you're walking into any environment, just know that all those people also have insecurities. They also get embarrassed. They also want to put their best face forward. They also want you to like them. Everybody's got the same junk. And so we're just a bunch of humans practicing doing human, practicing doing life together, doing the best that we can, stumbling and bumbling along the way, and it's really just very, very sweet and endearing. And so if you can just wrap your arms energetically or physically around yourself and just give yourself a whole lot of love and just say, hey, it's okay. It's okay that for today, you are learning how to do human. You're going to go out there. You're going to feel awkward. It's going to be uncomfortable, and you're going to do it, and you're going to be okay, and you are going to survive. And on the other side of that, you get to meet an even more empowered, incredible, confident, authentic version of you. And I cannot wait for you to do that because I want to meet that person too. So I hope that these tools helped you. Again, this is stuff that just comes from my own life experience and what I've shown others and what helps them too. I would love to hear in the comments what you personally related to the most, what tools you've used. Definitely connect with me and share more about that. If you liked this video, if you found some value in it, please give it a thumbs up. I'd love for you to share it with a friend. And do check back every Wednesday. I share fresh, raw, real, new videos about living free, being authentically all of you, and being able to shine your light so you can go out and help more people. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll connect with you more soon. Bye for now.